All right. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi, he got me when I was drinking coffee.
Yeah, I did. I nailed it perfectly. We are done with this world,
Yay.
Yay.
so we're going to leave it.
No more fucking cutscenes.
I should have upgraded the Keyblade while I was right next to that shop.
Should have.
That would have made a lot of good sense.
So I'm going to go do that real quick, but not on this world. On this one, because why not?
Let's go.
Because none of us ever want to see Toy Box again in our lives.
Nope.
Especially not the cutscenes.
Yeah, especially not the cutscenes.
It'd be funny if they just put like random cutscenes that played every time you entered an area there.
Oh,
just to screw
yeah.
with people.
Yeah, I just slipped my own.
Just like a walking cutscene
Sorry.
where they just walk up.
Yep. You like walk through an entry and it's a small cutscene that you walk into it.
Oh, jeez, it was so rough. But we're going to a much better paced world this episode.
Also, if you haven't watched the last
one and
video,
only
make sure
favorite.
you watch it so you know how horrible Toy Box is.
Oh, yeah, if you haven't watched the last video and you're watching this one, you should probably watch them in order.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do weird things though.
So,
Yes, we know
Daniel should have done most of the stuff I wanted him to do last time. He probably did none of it. Okay. This is what I need, because we're going to upgrade this.
Oh-ho-ho. Oh-ho-ho.
Yep, with the one Damascus, so we get the form changing.
Yay.
This Keyblade is rapidly...
Better.
Well, A, it's better because it has that Lucky Strike, right? Whoops.
Till you
There was a way to just like, for some reason my brain was like, there's a way to equip that in this menu without having to do it here, but whatever. So we're going straight to Corona. There really isn't much that Daniel could have fucked up not doing. Literally the only thing he could have fucked up not doing is not fighting the boss before we get to Corona.
Which I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
I
that'd be
didn't.
silly.
Yeah, that would be...
That would be me.
Yeah, that would, this is what I know. Okay, cool. I have to remember how to control... Oh, sweet, look, he got the Vega for us.
You are welcome.
It's an intense looking ship.
I think I set them to all the...
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, that's the right one. Cool. And then the special weapon... Cool. Yep, we're good.
The shipbuilding just reminds me of Space Engineers, which I've been playing a whole lot of recently. And that's pretty much as ugly as my ships start to look.
Well, it's not like the Vega looks good, but...
It is.
There's definitely better looking ones that you can
Yeah,
get.
the ones that you get in the next world selection area, they're way better.
World map area, if you
Yeah.
would.
Whoops.
And then you hit a rock. First thing you do.
Yep.
Destroy the Vega.
So, you know.
Why can't I go?
So, Will,
Yes.
do you know what's important about this world?
Dangerous place. You must stay here.
No. What do you mean?
What I mean is that this is the greatest Kingdom Hearts world. Bar none, totally accurately. And there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of them I'm going to get to when we get to them. But the first one, and the most important, is that you need to understand that fundamentally Kingdom Hearts worlds operate on two ways. Either A, you're basically Sora, Donald, and Goofy are in the story of the actual movie that they're from. Or B, it has all the characters and everything, but they do a completely different story.
Yes.
Is this
Or
a
you're
completely
Atlantica
different
and
story?
you play through the same movie twice in both the times that you visit the world.
What?
And they're two very different styles in both games.
Yes. And so what this one is that this one is the idea that like Sora, Donald, and Goofy are helping out in the story. Now normally the way they do that is basically like you run into basically Sora, Donald, and Goofy run into like the bad guy or something and just get themselves involved in the events of the plot.
Of course.
And it's like super ham-fisted and like they make you pretend that like you're friends with the characters. This world nails it. It completely, like a lot of people say that like Pirates of the Caribbean is the best world in this game. They are objectively wrong.
He's looking right at me.
Well, like they say that because like they want like the one that has like the most mechanical variety, I guess, or like the fact that it's so weird and different to make it the best. As I've often said, I really like games for like the stories they tell, and this one just nails the story in like the best ways possible.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this because for the past maybe 3 months, Keegan has been talking this up, saying that Corona is the greatest thing in existence. So I'm very excited to see this.
I don't know if it's the greatest thing in existence, but it is by far the best Kingdom Hearts world.
sure we were brought to this world.
So where do you start off? Like, where do you meet the first character? I guess I'm about to
Yeah, I was about to say, you start off here.
Yeah.
So essentially we run into Flynn, basically, like, right now. So another reason why it's the best is that the people who actually voice characters actually showed up, and they paid them.
Oh.
They paid everybody who actually voices characters in the movie to voice characters.
They did that with Frozen, but Frozen is Frozen.
Yeah, and Frozen doesn't
I'm
count
very
because
curious to
Frozen
see
is like a cash-in.
It is a sellout.
Yeah, it's totally a sellout.
Yeah, I remember this from Tangled.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, with the Heartless and the...
Yeah,
yeah.
remember this part.
So, like, the way it does it really well is that there are parts where Sora, Donald, and Goofy are, like, involved in the story. And then, like, it allows, like, the space of the movie to sort of take place without them while they're still present. It'll make a lot more sense about halfway through the world when we get there.
So one thing I have to say, the favorite deputy, while it may be an amazing Keyblade,
Oh, it
it
looks
is
awful.
ugly. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's rough.
It looks really bad, I know.
Yeah.
But its shot locks are really good, so I deal with it. Its ability is really good. And basically relative to maybe up through... I forget what the Big Hero 6 Keyblade's name is, but that's pretty much the only one that, like, once you get there, it's like, it's so statistically better that that's like the point of the game where you need it. But you'll still keep the favorite deputy because you're probably grinding for materials to get the ultimate weapon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you're
a
gonna get a lot of
fun
materials now, I
experience.
feel like.
There we go.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's what happens.
That was pleasant.
Yes.
Oh, I need to put...
You did not put Thunder on.
Yeah.
Thunder.
I'm probably going to have a big menu
Changing things up.
of doing a bunch of inventory management right after this. So don't worry about that.
Because you won't see it.
Nope. Well, maybe. Something funny happens.
Oh, something funny is certainly not going to happen. Have you seen our commentary?
We're not funny.
Yes.
Have you seen our commentary? Have you listened to our commentary?
Yes, I've seen it.
I've seen it physically.
I've physically seen it.
You just keep coming.
You also
Yeah.
meet someone not of this world in this.
Oh, yeah. You also meet, like, maybe the best Kingdom Hearts villain in this world, which helps. Because, A, he's very camp.
Yeah.
And then B, he's the only one who, like, whose plan even makes, like, a modicum of sense. Relative to, like... not in this game, but, like, in the game he actually showed up in.
Ooh, you arrow.
Yeah, so that's another reason why we're going to just redo...
Probably that's
I'm going to
right.
redo a bunch of magic. I'm probably going to redo some equipment stuff. Etc., etc. So, yeah, so, like, it starts off with us having this brief interaction with Finn, right?
Skedaddle.
And so, like, the other reason is that, like, immediately it gives us a call to action with, like, this cutscene, which you go, like, oh, man, this is really sort of poorly paced. But if you notice, the 3 cutscenes, they set up the main tension of the world, and that, like, it sets up Rapunzel at all. It sets up us, like, knowing a character, and then it gives us a call to action immediately following a forest fight. This is like maybe the only part of this world that's a little bit poorly paced, because we go through 2 big cutscenes in a row. In that, like, we have this cutscene, which kind of is them finding this very obvious hole in the fucking wall.
Couldn't have come this way.
Yeah.
At least he got away safe, right?
Nice.
And then because they are blind, they're like, "Where's Thora?"
Now Sora's gone.
Yeah, like, very clearly that is a
That
cave
is-
with some vines on top of it, but...
Ignore that sheer wall of vines.
Yeah.
It's a
Perfectly
quote
flat.
unquote secret passage.
Very
Like,
secretive.
it would have been better if they had literally, like, they want it to be visible so, like, you as a player know where it is. It would have been better if they just, like, covered it with vines and just been like, you're gonna have to find it.
Yeah. Or like closed up the rock opening more.
Yeah, make it a little
Yeah.
smaller. Then it might be a little less obvious.
But I'll give them credit. These 2 things, at least it has, like, a really good transition where it's like, we show up, we do this, and then we get to this conflict between Flynn and Rapunzel. So this is kind of what I mean in that, like, we don't see Flynn getting captured, right?
So the world is just
So-
happening outside of what we're
Yeah,
seeing,
so like,
which is
so like
nice.
we well, both. So like, in a sense, the Tangled movie is happening without Sora, Donald, and Goofy. But, and this is important, Sora, Donald, and Goofy in this cutscene have a, like, purpose in that, like, they change the way the movie works only slightly. So, like, it still works out the same exact way where Flynn has to convince, like, Rapunzel convinces Flynn to, like, take her to Corona and all that. But Flynn's like, oh man, there's all these monsters outside. How are we going to get past those? And he's like, oh yeah, those 3 idiots that I ran into. And so he, like, says that, like, his servants.
Sidekicks.
Or, yeah, his sidekicks are going to help.
I've hidden it.
He's practically a folk hero.
Yeah, so it's like, so, like, it has this bit of, like, actual, versus, like, it doesn't have it where, like, Flynn immediately thinks of Sora, Donald, and Goofy as, like, his friends, which is what happens in a lot of Kingdom Hearts worlds. Like, they just run into a character and they're like, I guess we're best friends now!
Whereas he's just like, oh yeah, I can use
like,
these guys.
Whereas, like, in this world, you don't start off with friends of Rapunzel and Flynn. Like, Flynn is very clearly using you all, and Rapunzel doesn't know you guys at all.
I love this movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
The other reason why this is great is that this makes you actually want to go watch the movie.
I know.
Whereas, like, a lot of the other worlds are just like, oh, yeah, I guess the movie's a thing. But, like, if you haven't seen Tangled and you play the Tangled world, you want to go see you want to see the actual movie, which is a credit to it. Whereas, like, if you hadn't seen Frozen and you're in the Frozen world, you're
You
just
don't
like,
want to see it.
you're like, oh my god, this is so awful.
Or Toy Story.
Oh,
I would
yeah, like
never
Toy
watch Toy Story after that.
Yeah, like you'd be like, oh my god,
What is
these
this
characters
garbage?
suck.
This is terrible.
Then, will I return your satchel to you? That
Sure.
is my deal.
Yeah, no can do. Unfortunately,
I don't want to talk about the cutscenes because I like just love this world so much, so it's a bit of a problem.
Yes, kill him.
Slap him with your
Giant frying pan.
giant frying pan.
If it works in PUBG, it'll work in this.
Hey, man, you can deflect bullets in PUBG with it.
So
Yeah.
I have made the decision
So she said,
to trust you.
"Get the ultimate weapon."
decision really.
I am serious.
Yeah, the voice actor thing is actually really underrated because, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean world, when we get there, is a retelling of the third movie, but because it's missing so many of the actual key actors, it is so grating when you actually watch it.
Yeah.
Sad day.
Even though I really like that world, but
Like, you have not Johnny Depp, and
Okay,
you have
the thing about that is
nowhere near Keira Knightley.
whoever did do the Jack Sparrow did a very, very close impression. Though.
Oh yeah, no, it's better than fake Woody.
Yeah. way
In that
better.
like your brain's almost like, is that Johnny Depp?
And then you just kind of accept, yeah, maybe it could
Did
be.
Johnny Depp had a
Like
cold?
there's enough that you're like, is that Johnny Depp? I guess it could be Johnny Depp. And then he like says something else. Like the very next line, you're like, oh, but that's not Johnny Depp. And then like the very next line, you're like, oh, but that
maybe
does
it
sound
is.
kind of like Johnny Depp. So
And then when you meet Elizabeth, you're like, that's not.
yeah,
even
that was
close.
and I'm pretty sure they got Orlando Bloom, and he's like the only. But like they had Keira Knightley for the second game, so it's a little weird.
I think they even got Mr. Gibbs' voice actor.
Yeah, I imagine he's
Yeah.
not doing too much.
So like this is like the one poorly paced section of this entire world.
A tower.
Which is we come out of this little cutscene here, right?
And
we come out of this big
there'll be
cutscene
another
moment,
one.
which at the very least was like the first one with Sora, Donald, and Goofy wasn't that long, so it's not that bad. And then the second one with Rapunzel and Flynn at least is doing more to set up some conflict, right? So it's story important. And then I'm not going to clear out. I just made the decision I'm not going to clear out these worlds. I'm going to run into stuff as we get to them.
Okay.
Okay.
I would get the lucky emblem that's right here, but you get sucked into another cutscene.
Yeah.
Luckily, this one's like for this game, it's like medium length, right?
At least something's happening in it
Uh,
so far.
and it genuinely is like an actual like really good cutscene in the fact that like. So the other thing is that this game doesn't have this world doesn't have the assumption that you know the game, that you know the source material.
Yeah, and this is directly from the movie.
And this is like directly from the movie, right? But so like what they do is they're doing a lot to like actually make you like these characters as well. So they don't just assume that like you're gonna want to play with you're gonna like.
Where did
That-
the hair go?
I mean, it's magic.
It's,
Oh, sorry.
it's still hanging up on the,
Yeah,
It's still hanging up on the...
there's some concessions they make, I guess, for processing power with Rapunzel.
I just want to see like her hair go across the entire map span.
Probably would.
And just in time.
Yeah, and just lie the game out.
An actual kilometer of
But
hair.
yeah,
Who's she?
That would be Rapunzel.
right?
Something tells me this could be her first time.
And so like they do some genuine work in these cutscenes. Part of it is they just adapt from the movie, right? Like they adapt the first part of this cutscene from the movie, but then they kind of like put Sora, Donald, and Goofy in this. This is maybe my favorite cutscene in all of Kingdom Hearts.
I can't believe
And just like
I can't believe I did
it's
this.
like right out of the movie,
Can't believe
but
I did this.
like as she does this, it also inserts Sora, Donald, and Goofy into the scenes, and just like
The tower.
uh,
It's okay.
It is there.
Right?
which is cool because it's like it seems like they're existing and like they're part of this,
That was hilarious.
you know.
This is word from word from the movie, but they're just throwing them in.
Yeah, so it's like it's great in the sense of like,
Never going back.
yeah,
I'm a despair.
I just love it so much.
This is wonderful.
And so like I appreciate the fact that whoever did this, like it makes it feel like whoever designed this world genuinely liked the movie, and so it's like trying to keep these big personality moments from the movie in, and while at the same time trying to incorporate Sora, Donald, and Goofy in a way that seems organic and natural. Like they could, like if you look at it, these three could like legitimately just exist in this movie so far.
Yeah.
Like they could be legitimate side characters in this movie if you were like focusing on like Flynn or Rapunzel as like the protagonists.
Yeah, if
right?
it was a little less plaid.
If it was a little less Portland.
Yeah. Part of it is helped by like the movie's CGI in general, but I mean like more like the way the characters interact within the scene is also very natural. Like it's not. It's there are some worlds that we play in, and it's like it's very clear. Like the Frozen world when they just insert them into it, right? It's like they're literally just like an interstitial cut into like a movie scene. Whereas like in this one, they're like integrated to certain ways.
Yeah.
And they're like integrated into the conflict.
I'm just like waiting to get to the Frozen world, and it's like in the middle of Let It Go, and when she's in the castle, they're just standing in the background.
That's no, they are
it's
literally like
literally that.
oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That's gonna be horrible.
it's fucking bad. Whereas like in this one, like when like if they don't have anything to do in the scene other than in that one, they just aren't there. They literally are not in the scene,
Yeah.
which some people would find like bad, but like in like the deep Flynn and Rapunzel only moments, because like you care about those characters, they feel the person who designed this world felt totally fine not putting Sora, Donald, and Goofy in the scene.
That's fair.
And like in this one, we kind of missed it,
Interest.
where like
Oh, my tail's off.
That's not Dale's.
That was rough.
Rapunzel's kind of interesting.
Big and scary.
It's coming
Yeah.
back.
I know how she feels.
And like, and yeah, and like it does this really cool thing where like in this cutscene at the very end, like Sora finds his own, like he finds the parallels between like what's happening with Rapunzel and what's happening with Sora relative to his own journey in Kingdom Hearts 1. You know, and so it's like they have bits where like Flynn has to explain to these three why the fuck they're hanging out with Rapunzel, and like they have to make their own decisions. But this next section of like the world is Kingdom Hearts at its best.
Yeah.
This is literally my favorite thing that happens in all of Kingdom Hearts, because like I said, they don't assume that you're going to care about Rapunzel and Flynn, right? But just like start to watch what happens as like I play this. I want to say there's a chest over here.
It's not this spot.
Oh, yeah,
There
it's
is
over here.
one by the pond.
Uh,
Look, the flowers are growing on top
I
of
see
the
it.
water.
yeah, so like she's around and she's talking with you. So like you think, okay, it's just going to be some voice lines as like you move
See,
along.
she has all her hair. It's just in a giant.
Yeah, now
bundle.
it is.
Yeah.
It just like disappeared into the
Maybe this
castle in the
isn't such a
previous
good idea
scene.
after all.
So I was just laughing at that.
You know, it's like, you know, she's just having some voice lines. So you think, okay, I see how this is going to be. We're going to walk with her. She's just going to have some voice lines. It's going to be super uninteresting.
Were they actually unique and good voice lines?
I mean,
What is that?
It's
so
a-
fluffy.
and like in here, they do a good job of like showing sort of Rapunzel's innocence, and then they immediately contrast it with like her actual like ability as a character, in the sense that like Sora, Donald, and Goofy do the thing where they're like, "Oh no, stay behind us, Rapunzel. We don't want you to have to fight," and she's immediately like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, kill some things.
And
She's
so
like,
it's
I'm
great.
out of my castle.
So
I'm
like
ready for
here,
blood.
here literally what they would do in other games is like they would use this as justification for why Rapunzel isn't like
Interacting
isn't
with
like
fighters.
isn't like a site wouldn't be like one of the movie characters who can join your party.
Here, let's just turn around
Right.
and take you home.
No,
And so they do this good job of, like, once again, just establishing of, like, this scene that involves the Heartless they use to, like, both forward the movie and the characters and their conflict, while at the same time, like, developing the character to a degree where you're like, oh, she also is, like, somebody who's, like, willing to... so it's great, is what I'm saying.
No, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
They actually put some time and thought into it. Oh, that's one of the ones you have to do?
I have to take a picture of that one. Come on. I'm trying to do it without having to flip the camera, but...
Give me your damn selfie.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fine. He doesn't want a selfie. I get it.
So here's the...
So, like, you know how, like, all the other Keyblades we've been using, I mean, I guess the Magic Arrows had two, but it was kind of the same.
Wow, that just wrecked that.
Yeah.
The flare. Sorry, I know. I hope people don't mind that joke, because that's going to be around for a while.
It's not leaving.
Is that Ric Flair's cousin?
Yeah.
We think that we have permanently ruined this.
So you have that hammer, and then you get this cool drill.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be the enormous one for a second, and you were just going to have that, and I was like, oh my god. It's still pretty cool.
And then that happens.
Yeah.
This is pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the later game upgrades to your Keyblade are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, because this just feels like an entirely different game from the last episode.
Oh, yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is it like these characters... Is that, like, even those cutscenes, they're in good spots, and they have enough in them that you're just not like, oh my god, why do we need this?
They were like, well, okay, so we got this
Yeah.
really good world. I think we need to even out some shit. Let's put in Toy Story.
Like, we put a lot of effort into this. Oh, this looks fun.
Yeah, right?
I was wondering if she was going to do something like that.
Yep.
And I'm just going to use the finish on this one, because fuck it.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage.
And a lot of AoE in general in areas.
And we're going to pull out the blaster blades.
Doesn't it? So while we have a moment, and because I'm hungry, I need to bring up an irk I have.
Uh-huh.
I still cannot believe that you insulted pizza rolls as much as you did.
Dude,
Pizza rolls are the greatest thing in existence.
No, they aren't. They really are not.
They are so damn good.
They are pretty bad.
No, they are wonderful. They're just like pockets of happiness and good pizza.
I've never once considered a pizza roll a pocket of happiness.
I had 20 of
Isn't
them
that
last night, and I am so happy.
Isn't that
Oh,
a
good.
hot
Goofy got a
pocket?
second chance.
Isn't that a hot pocket in like?
No, a hot
No,
hot
these are
pocket is
miniature
a,
hot pockets.
a hot pocket is like
That is a steaming ball of death.
mhm.
I don't think I've ever not burned my mouth on Hot Pockets unless I made it way too cold on purpose.
No,
so I
you
wouldn't
burn your
my
mouth and then your next bite is ice cold and you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going on? How can they... It's mostly cheese. I don't understand how it could be frozen and melted at the same
Yeah,
time.
these edges are lava and the center is ice. What the hell is my problem?
It's like the moon.
So another good thing that happens in this world is that the villain from the movie is manipulated in a believable way by the Kingdom Hearts villain who shows up in the world.
Oh ho ho.
Right? Is that like you understand where Mother Gothel is? I mean, like, you understand Mother Gothel's motivations, right? And then the Kingdom Hearts villain who shows up, he manipulates this
He plays off those motivations.
in a way that like
there he is.
yeah.
It's
So
not
meet
gonna-
Marluxia.
What?
Marluxia is maybe the only Kingdom Hearts villain whose like plans make sense.
Oh.
So see, he's very clearly manipulating her, but he's like manipulates so like the darkness makes sense in this game,
She already had darkness in her heart. So.
right? And it also makes sense that Marluxia uses her because that's who Marluxia as like a
Is.
character is that he's like super manipulative.
So Marluxia is from Chain of Memories, which is one of those.
Yeah, Marluxia is the best villain in the worst game, so it
Yeah.
sucks a lot.
Yeah. But his whole plan is he's originally part of the original
Yeah.
Organization 13, and then he's like, fuck this, let's have this whole coup d'etat.
Yeah.
And so he tries to do that with Sora, which is like the whole point of Chain of Memories.
I should put on Second Chance with Goofy.
Probably, yeah.
So
So,
how
yeah.
often do your people actually go down?
Good amount.
In critical mode, all the time.
Ah.
Because they're so this is one of the best things in all of Kingdom Hearts. Just this little section here, right? like this area of the world. So like Rapunzel is like interacting with these little things, right?
I thought that might work. But I wish there was a way to make more fly at once.
Back off!
If I can get it to work.
Back off!
Oh, it's this one, I think.
Back off!
There we go. See?
Nice.
It's like, that's really cool, right? Of like, you're not just like having, it's like you as a player actually get to interact with this character.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's another thing that we can do up here. I realize I'm missing a bunch of, I'm actually not missing that many lucky emblems. There's like 2,
I want rabbits.
right?
Rabbits.
Heartless!
This is just like a great section
You're not picking on these
Of-
rabbits.
of the game where like, you know how I say like this is like interacting with the movie in a certain way? Is that like you feel like Sora, and then like here you feel like Sora's actually becoming friends with Rapunzel
Yeah.
versus just like Sora's just like, I guess we're friends now.
Like immediate.
Yeah, you're like
Like you're
trying to be
just not
friends.
bonding over trauma, which is kind of like
all of Kingdom Hearts.
which is like what Kingdom Hearts says that friends are. Like when you play other games, you're gonna be like, man, I really wish they did that. Oh look, I think this is the first time we've used this attraction
No,
command in a while.
you used it one other time, and I asked what the hell was going on.
It's
Oh,
a magic
yeah.
carousel, Will. What's the problem? Can you not figure that out?
When are you clicking? How do you know when to click?
Basically, when the ring fully disappears into
Oh, I see.
the base, but before it comes back out.
Makes
Um,
sense.
So, essentially, like this entire section, you start to like actually bond and like you as the player interact
It's safe now.
with the character. It's not like it's not in a cutscene or anything like that. Like you are literally
Maybe
trying,
they wanna show
like
us
you're,
something. Let's
you know,
follow them.
like they're prompting you to do things and you actually do them, as if like, you know, in this radical
Where do you
idea
think the rabbits went?
of, I don't know how to explain it beyond that, of just
I
like
think
the
they want us
actual
to help
player
us.
interaction does a lot more to like further the
Thank
idea
you.
that you become like invested in these characters.
It's not just
It
the
actually,
world is
like-
shit, so we teamed up to fix
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Never imagined the forest would be so big.
And this part of the game is just full of these little moments like that. And so it's like, this is the other reason of like, they're in the movie as the game, is that like, you actually like are going on this massive journey with Flynn and Rapunzel to get to Corona. It's not like you go on a cutscene and all that,
And then the boss shows up.
and then the boss shows up and all. It's like you actually are exploring this world around them, and you're trying to like, and you're going with them to places.
Yes, Jafar does not just show up and is like, oh
Yeah.
yes, you
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it's not.
My dear.
I'm here to ruin the day.
Which is like all of the other Kingdom Hearts games with Jafar in it.
Get through this, your
Yeah.
kingdom.
Yeah. So it's like the first half of this, and you're gonna see this, is that like the first half of this world is us getting to Corona, and then we get to actually interact in Corona. So there's a bit of that where it's like, you know, we've made it and we have these triumphant adventure moments and it's really cool, and then like the dark things happen and we have to like run back. You know,
Actually, aren't we about to hit one of the dark things that happens?
actually, we're about to hit something I was talking about where the movie gets to happen in a space separate from Sora, Donald, and Goofy is another example.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Marluxia ambushes us, right? And so we tell them to run on ahead because the nobody / Marluxia are dangerous and we don't want them to, like...
And they're different
Right.
than Heartless.
I know to be careful around
And so
flowers
they're like, you guys go on ahead and we'll catch up. And so then we spend another, maybe, there are like 2 or 3 areas
Without them.
trying to catch up to them. And when we catch up to them, it's very clear that they've had their own adventure without Sora, Donald, and Goofy. But like in such a way that like the rest of like the movie could have happened. The movie as we know it could have happened in that span.
Gotcha.
And then when we get to Corona, it's like some other stuff happens, and then it's like we get another cutscene where you get the sense of like some other like you get the sense that like
And as per usual, Sora does not actually check the thing, he just looks at it.
yeah.
He just walks within 5 feet and he's like, yeah, it's good.
These guys,
Uh,
they're nobodies.
Yeah, so we're like,
Mother said the outside world would be full of ruffians and thugs.
Those ruffians.
Ruffians.
they're foreigners.
Same here, Donald. I don't know.
To help you fight.
So yeah,
I know.
You've at least fought these,
but I'm
Donald. You should
afraid
know.
you can't hurt
Well,
these
not
guys
these
with a frying
specific.
pan.
yeah.
Trust me on this.
So like, they're like, these guys are way more dangerous and heartless.
No problem. Knowing when to flee is one of my specialties.
Thanks, Flynn.
And the other good thing is that like the way they set up this world, they don't change the personalities of the characters. Like Toy Box, they totally change how Buzz is.
Yeah.
The Buzz is like I give him props because Buzz is like traditionally not a trusting person.
Yeah, but like they change it to the point that like he's like irrationally distrustful of these
Yeah,
people.
excessively.
Of course there
You know.
ain't nobodies.
And it's not like, you know, and yeah, you can kind of see some of those similarities from like Toy Story 2 when like Buzz is the person talking to Woody and like, you can't trust these other toys. But still, like to a certain degree, you're like, oh man, this is like a little too far of taking that personality trait. Where like Buzz doesn't seem like a very good friend at the end of the day.
Buzz just seems kind of like an ass who doesn't like people.
Yeah, and you're like, why
Which
would
is fair.
why would you
Why would you? I know he's a toy
Yeah.
that is owned by someone, but why would you hang out with him?
yeah, you know, like and he's not the asshole in the way that he is in like the first movie where he's just like delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, all of the
And like a lot of it is Woody's like insecurities being expressed. So like in this one, they don't really change anybody's personalities. It's, you know,
So these are Marluxia's not Heartless, Nobodies.
yeah.
The ones he rules over.
So we've kind of talked about this and we haven't. Is that basically, other than the very low ranking, every Organization 13 member has like their own personal nobody that like they control, and those
At least
and
the
they're like
original.
reflective of both like basically the combat style of the Organization 13 member who like owns them. So like Marluxia has a scythe.
And uses flowers.
Yeah. So
Makes
you know,
sense. Yeah.
Now why?
Fits in very well.
and the funny thing is that
Bossing around nobodies?
because they don't remember Marluxia due to the events of Chain of Memories, it's really funny that like they like see him and they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "I'm Marluxia. I'm the guy who tried to torment you in Castle Oblivion." And he's like, "I don't remember that at
What the
all."
fuck are you talking
Oh,
about?
my brain has blocked that out. It was
Yeah,
so
see,
terrible.
like again,
You know him?
you know.
Like, who the fuck are you, man?
No memory of me,
Yeah.
because I remember you exceedingly well.
Must
That's what I mean, though. It's like exceedingly well.
Those memories I'd soon erase.
Is that like he's so campy? It's just great.
Nor should you.
I'm enjoying it.
Nor will you ever, for that.
They're like, why
Yeah.
should we know you? He's like, you won't actually.
Yeah.
Now.
He's just like splurring off
And
insults
so,
at him.
but
and
like
just,
his
like,
plan is really interesting in that like he's not here to kill Rapunzel or anything like that. He wants Rapunzel to be like locked in the tower and like kept safe, so that if Sora fails, they have like a backup plan. Essentially, because she's like pure of heart and she's like she could be another like princess of heart or warrior of light, you know.
So for your information, we'll
So
give you
everything
no
he-
fucking clue what that means.
So like his manipulation of Gothel is that he also wants Gothel to take Rapunzel back and to hold her like captive. And so like that's what I mean is also like his plan makes sense. Like he doesn't lock Sora in a room or anything. He doesn't try and like kill Sora because he understands that like he's trying to protect Rapunzel and get Sora to like gather the other warriors of light. Right? And so like his plan makes sense. Right? He's like Sora, I want you to keep Rapunzel safe on this world and make sure she, you know, so that she's full of light and everything. But at the same time, like you don't get to like he's also going to try, like he also takes her away from Flynn and everything. Like it's very like it seems convoluted, but compared to everybody else's fucking plans, it's pretty straightforward.
compared
makes
to the
sense.
fucking time travel.
Yeah, he's like, I need Rapunzel to be safe. And now, like, this section of the world is like, oh man, we got to find Rapunzel and Flynn. They've like wandered off, and we want to make sure they're safe.
There's his
now,
asshole
but
after them.
one of the things we've been shown is that those two are still like fairly competent people. So even if, like even if they ran into Heartless, we know that like we wouldn't be like shocked that they would be able to fight off some low-level Heartless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keegan's actually into this.
Yeah. What,
know
professional
zero.
wrestlers or Kingdom Hearts? Because
Both.
Both at the
yes,
same time.
I'm big into professional. I
We're
like
gonna-
professional wrestling.
We're gonna go to the WWE
Wrestling.
world.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a great world.
Just a complete WWE game.
I mean, it's gonna be better than the actual WWE games.
You're not wrong.
To be fair,
Uh,
whenever the new one comes out, we'll probably play that just so you guys are gonna be like, what the fuck?
yeah, because I know nothing about wrestling whatsoever.
One of the really fun things about this is that like you're like, oh man, here's this another cutscene. But it's interesting in this cutscene they run into Mother Gothel.
Wonder where they went.
Which you haven't even
Yeah,
met.
and so like
Don't worry, they couldn't have gotten too far.
right, and so it's like you have this interesting. So most of the time when they run into the villains, and they like the villains immediately villain,
Yeah.
in just like the Disney way.
Bet that's the name.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, they look dark and menacing. They must be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Except in
Or like they don't run into her, but like, you know, like it's like there's this bit of interaction.
Excuse me, good travelers. Do you know Rapunzel?
the only other time that I can think of that you don't really know the villain that's like a villain first off is Deep Jungle, but that's only because you already know that.
Oh, you know Clayton's a dickbag.
You know he's an ass, but you don't know that he's going to be like the final boss.
The big evil ass.
Even though you can kind of, because most people know Tarzan, but
Sweet girl.
I mean, I guess.
We lost her.
I mean like saying like he's not immediately thrown in there like Jafar, like Oogie Boogie, who are like, yeah, we're the big bad guys right now.
You're of no use to me.
Wow.
Right, and you're like, this seems a little useless, but it's like it's this good idea of just like it sort of it gives them a little bit more. I don't really understand the she ran away from home thing. Like they
Because
very
they-
clearly knew that.
Yeah.
They watched it.
Yeah. She was only mentioning this tons of times.
And she wasn't having an existential crisis for
I
like
guess
4 hours.
Yeah.
But they're just putting more internal conflict in, which
Yeah.
is good to see.
But it's very interesting in that like these guys are like they're dealing with sort of the meta conflict separately from like Rapunzel and Flynn. Like so it's really interesting in that like they could have just be there while at the same time they have like it's not like they don't go like, oh, by the way, we have to deal like there's this Organization 13 thing we have to deal with and there's this darkness thing. Like none of that plays into the Finn Rapunzel stuff. Except I think at the very end, and even then it's very minor.
Yeah. And more heart. Fuck.
Nobodies.
I keep doing that today.
Yeah.
No birdie.
And they even have a little Easter egg for whatever the bar's name is, with all the
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
enemy, with all the like bad guys, quote unquote, that
Yeah.
are in the movie.
Yeah. You can go find the entrance, essentially.
No, it's the secret exit.
Oh, the secret.
Oh yeah.
The tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the yellow duck or something.
Uh-huh. We won't pass by it. I guess I could run over there, but
You have to deal with more nobodies.
yeah.
God, I wish Shrek was made by Disney, because I really want a Shrek world.
Oh, I was gonna say what other dumbass worlds can we come up with for Kingdom Hearts? That would, yeah. Shrek is like an obvious example of that though, where it's like, oh yeah, Shrek world would be really good. I'm trying to think of like what other dumbass media that's not owned by Disney would make really good worlds. A lot of people like want an Avengers/Marvel world,
Interesting.
and
That'd be weird.
and I think that's gonna be a lot lamer than people think.
I know.
Yeah.
Because there's going to have to be so many damn characters to appease
Yeah.
every person.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like there's just it just doesn't kind of fit with how
No.
Kingdom Hearts is.
You don't put real live action people in here.
Oh no, they try and do that, and it's why Pirates of the Caribbean
Oh,
has one of
that's
the
true.
weirdest aesthetics in the game.
They did it better in, I'd say, in this time than.
Oh
in
yeah,
2.
no, they do it better. So like they make Sora, Donald, and Goofy a lot more photorealistic in that world,
Oh, okay.
and you'll notice what I mean when we get there in like 4 worlds. But
So, like, 2
so
months.
yeah, but it's still kind of bad. Like Sora's significantly more photorealistic relative to Donald and Goofy.
Yeah. Because, I mean, how else can you do a cartoon?
Yeah.
I
dog
want
and
Donald
duck?
to literally have just, like, realistic feathers all over.
He kind of does have some.
Yeah.
It's not, like, enough to
But
make
see,
it look like the rest
but
of the
this is
world.
kind of what I'm talking about. How like we had to go find them.
Yeah, and they've been going through the
Yeah,
movie.
and it seems like they've been going through their own little adventures and everything. And so, like, that's what I kind of mean in that a lot of this is, like, the movie happens kind of still in its own, like they kind of have their own story in their own space, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy kind of have their own story in their own space. And then there's this sort of unified story that they're all going through together.
Excuse me?
Nobody appreciates you, do they?
Excuse me.
Oh, come on! He's a bad horse.
I kind of would like an Iron Giant kind of world, but I don't know how they would do
Oh,
it.
an Iron Giant world would be cool.
Maximus,
Trying to think of like another. I had like an idea of a world
look.
that'd be really stupid, but I wanted to see it anyway, and I can't remember now.
And the thing is,
Finding
I
Dory.
need you not to get him.
Oh, a
off.
Finding Nemo world would just basically be Atlantica again, and
Yeah.
everybody would hate it.
And then you
You
can
just
keep
throw
That's
a
why-
Nemo
And once
reference
again,
into
once again, like the fun of the game isn't to find Disney properties. It's to find stuff like King of the Hill, where it's like
Yeah.
it's not a Disney property, and it'd be funny.
Just so you know.
Oh, I was gonna say King of the Hill would be awesome because Donald's Magic would like make it so they're all wearing blue jeans and like cowboy boots in the King of the Hill world.
I would enjoy seeing like a Simpsons.
You're here.
Oh yeah,
You're okay.
that would be
Pretty
funny.
Simpsons animated.
Yeah, you too.
Or they could do what they were kind of doing in Toy Story and just go super anime with it.
Maximus.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
safely
Well, I mean, like
discuss
that's what people
where
want.
he
If people
goes.
want a lot more Final Fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
Is Sora, Goofy, and
We
Donald.
can do it.
Which may or may not be added
Yes,
in
so
with-
you wouldn't know from this world, but Final Fantasy characters used to be in these
big.
games.
Come on.
You'll find out with Remind, because apparently
And
they're
people
adding
complain
back
about
in-
that in this game, but like that's also a thing that happens in BBS, where like the only big thing that even is vaguely Final Fantasy is Hollow Bastion, and even then, Final Fantasy characters don't show up there.
Oh, this place is beautiful.
So this is the only annoying part about this world, and it's the fact that like it takes forever for Rapunzel to get into position if you're clearing things out, which we're not, so it won't be.
Luckily, once you are done with the world, you don't.
Once you're done with this section, once you
Yeah.
beat the mini boss, you don't have to wait on her again because you get a thing that lets you jump off of
Yeah.
action flow. Like you get a thing that lets you jump like when you do that.
Your flow motion,
Yeah, off flow motion.
which is the entire point of Dream Drop Distance.
Sounds like Flotection
Yeah.
from Progressive.
Jeez.
I don't know why that just reminded me of that commercial.
Because that's what they need. They need a progressive world.
Mm-hmm.
It's just insurance.
The
You
entire
can buy
plot.
insurance.
The entire plot is like them having to sell some insurance.
Every time you like constantly are losing money, but every time you die, you gain money back.
Yeah.
Good thing you have Flo's life insurance.
Yeah.
And then all the Heartless are just like businessmen in suits. They're like opposite insurance.
Salesman.
Yeah.
Insurance salesman.
Yeah.
That's dumb. That's a dumb joke even by our standards.
This
You
is as
asked for
far as I'm
really
willing to
stupid
go.
worlds.
Ready to go. This way, Sora.
Isn't there a thing where they like made part of like a Jungle Book world and then they never put it in?
I think they started on Jungle Book World at one point, and then they were like, "Oh, that's not going to be very good," so they didn't do it.
Wow. how
Or they didn't do it because, like, I think it was going to be like for this game, but because of like the proximity to because Disney lost the Disney doesn't own the trademark Jungle Book.
Nope.
And like Universal was putting out its version of that, or whoever, Warner Brothers, I think, was putting out their version of that movie.
Yeah, what was the name of the new
There-
Jungle
there
Book
was-
that came
there
out
was,
for
like-
live action?
Yeah, there's like Jungle Book, which is like Disney's shitty cash grab live action thing. Because Daniel's taking over the second half of this game. The other reason I'm not clearing out is that it doesn't benefit me at all. Like it just takes up time, and I don't get anything. And so like if Daniel doesn't do it, then it's his fault, and it's his problem to deal with.
So this mini boss is a bitch to fight in critical mode.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
'Cause
Is
we're
this
go-
a super floof?
No,
Whatever the
no.
hell?
no.
No, we
Oh,
already
fuck
got the
that.
chief. We remember when I was taking all those selfies and like we weren't getting that enemy.
Yeah,
that was
it.
the chief.
Oh,
buff.
okay.
This is
Super floof. It just
I
fucks
can
up.
see why he got super floof out of Chief Puff, to be honest. Like, that's... It's not like when
pretty
you
damn
say
close.
something stupid and it doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
Those are my typical comments. Is just saying stupid ass stuff that makes it. Oh yeah, I can see how this would be horrible.
Oh, it gets
Oh,
worse.
oh, it
this
gets
is
worse.
This is just stage one.
Yeah, this is stage one of a boss fight that essentially has 4 stages.
Yeah.
There's like a random scattering that hits 50% of the ground.
So that's why I'm gonna do this real quick.
Because it beats the fuck out of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's
Because
not
it doesn't
even moving.
move very
Yeah.
much. So you can just...
So
At least
much.
in this phase, it doesn't move much.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually do that.
Yeah, normally it takes tons of damage.
So here's part 2.
And this is
Oh,
a 3-part actual boss. So that was just a normal fight.
Nice.
And then we have to kill this thing 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how this be real rough.
And it charge does entirely all of your damage in critical.
What he's saying is that it charges a...
It's a one-shot.
One hit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Especially if you haven't grinded or anything.
Yeah. Oh, you got meteor. Use it now.
I pretty much beat
See
this
if it goes
boss.
the right way.
I pretty much
Hey.
beat this boss. I got here, and it was so frustrating that I was just like, the rest of critical mode isn't going to be very good.
Alright, part 2 down.
And now we
and
do
so,
it again.
And so then we do this again.
Oh.
Same amount, same health bar, 3 times.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
very interesting.
it's not a very good boss.
No. And then it shows up again later on in this world.
Oh, rude.
Luckily, it has very little defense, so that's why like
Yeah, it's-
every hit just takes off so much health.
It's just its attack is so fucking high.
Yeah, it's because it's very fast and it has so much health that I think they just didn't give it.
Yeah, this thing's
Yeah.
OP as enough as it is. Let's just turn
The
down.
boss of this world is also
Amazing.
the boss of this world also can like just destroy you.
Yeah, if you're like not ready for it.
I feel like Organization 13 should have just invested in a bunch of these.
Yeah,
Just like a cavalry unit.
but I'm pretty sure that's a heartless. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, see, I got super jump off that fight, which
Ooh, butter jump.
essentially what it lets me do. You actually have to put it on to leave this place. So,
Oh.
so we got counter slash.
Always fun.
Counter slash is like if I actually block something, I can do some damage.
Yeah.
So what does 0 EXP do? You talked about that in the first episode. but-
So 0 EXP sets it so that you can only. Yeah, see, you gotta super jump out. Sets it so you only ever are level 1,
Oh.
which sounds. It's for like a super extra challenge. Beating any Kingdom Hearts game on level 1 critical mode is kind of like the ultimate challenge. I believe in this game, in BBS, and a couple of others, the way they make up for it. Typically, they make up for it in some way.
Because otherwise you're fucked entirely.
Yeah, no, that would just
I
completely
see
screw
some
you.
birds.
Yeah.
This way.
So this is just another little section like what we did before, where like you just interact with Rapunzel.
I must have started them.
This one's really cool too. Is that like you have to like walk over to them and then bring them to Rapunzel, and you get this fun little
Never seen a
cutscene.
bird like you.
But you don't get the thing from Shrek where Fiona makes
That's
them
exactly what I was
explode.
thinking.
Yeah.
You sing to them and make them pop, and then steal their eggs.
Listen, they're singing for us.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's-
they took
it's
the
just the
music,
music,
and then
yeah.
they made it into like,
Little trillion notes.
yeah.
It is. Yeah. And so basically, that's just like another little fun scene that you can have with Rapunzel.
How pleasant.
Yeah, this game, like this world, is just like really awesome in that sense. And now we finished the big adventure, right? So we had this big adventure thing, and now we get to like be part of the
I just
celebration
knew
that
the
happens
outside
in the
world would be
city.
full
Oh,
of
nice.
The
amazing
festival.
things.
Hmm.
We get to party.
Yay.
And you helped me find them.
And you,
Thank
that
you.
guy whose name I'm blanking on right
Yeah.
now.
What?
It's Sura.
So you read forest class.
Yeah, and so like Rapunzel, we can no longer play with. Like Flynn's now like just like the party companion. So it's like just really cool that like they introduce her in a way that like she gets to be part of your party, and you get to do all these fun little things with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time you're done with this world, you're like, oh man. And like we still get to do a little bit more, like just like hanging out with Rapunzel and Flynn, basically. Oh yeah, the other advantage of this world is that its background music isn't like
Toy Story.
doesn't just get repetitive and annoying, even though it is like a repetitive sound bit.
It's not You've Got a Friend in Me.
Yeah.
You got a friend in me.
No, you don't.
Wait, copyright, stop.
I think I kept it short enough.
Yeah.
Small child with blonde hair and green eyes.
That looks
Reminds
vaguely
me
like
of
me.
someone.
Yeah.
everyone. Come dance with us.
Right, so you got to do this cool little thing. And by cool little thing, I mean it's a mini game.
It's a dancing minigame.
Yes.
Yes.
Where you show off your white boy skills.
This is wonderful.
The sad thing is there's no booze in their hands, so they're not immediately trashed.
What?
Trying to like. As that basically we fill this up.
Will is mesmerized.
I am. It's wonderful.
Yeah. This is basically it. This is the mini game.
Gotta have your fun.
Yeah, and then you hit triangle and you
And then you do a conga line.
basically.
Yes.
Keep dancing.
Yeah, I know it's super interesting, but you know it's this cool little moment that you get to have with Rapunzel, and like it builds more of that idea of like this game when it ends, you actually feel like Sora became friends with these people.
Oh, you've bonded with someone.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Or like when in Toy Box when it ends, it's like, oh yeah, now we're friends with Woody and Buzz. You're like, I guess we are.
We're friends with Woody.
Yeah.
Oh, Buzz still hates us, but here we are.
And Buzz apologized, but he's still
So
an
like,
ass.
yeah. You know, so now we bring
Flynn.
Flynn in.
And the music goes faster.
Oh, shit.
I mean, you could have hit the triangle.
To the boats!
Tugboat boats.
Oh, it's
Alright.
nighttime already. Nice.
So we got some booze.
Some booze.
Not
Booze.
booze. Sora is still
Booze.
technically underage, I believe.
No, this is probably Europe, so he's good.
Yeah, it's Japan. I think it's 8. Actually, I don't know. So,
No clue.
well, we're in Corona, which is almost certainly Europe. So, like, yeah, this is pretty much stolen straight out of the movie.
I want to see us just on another little boat right next to them.
Nah, that's not what's gonna happen.
Okay, fair.
Burst your hopes and dreams right
Yeah,
there.
but it's just kind of this cool moment where, like, you still get the sense that, like, Flynn and Rapunzel had their own thing going on,
Yeah.
you know, during this world.
And we're just kind of helping him through it.
Yeah, and, like, Sora, Donald, and Goofy are, like, their friends who are hanging out with them and helping
What
him.
if it's not?
And then the fun thing is that, like,
It would be.
and then, like, once this is done, the Kingdom Hearts stuff creeps back in.
Fair.
In a very, very strong way.
And it,
All of a
like,
sudden,
the
Corona's under
implication
attack.
is sort of that, like, it's more Lucia who sort of causes all the problems that happen in sort of the third act of Tangled.
Mhm.
Which is cool. It's like, you know, you get the sense in this world that events are happening both without Sora, Donald, and Goofy, but like because they're there, they happen in the way that they happen in the movie. If that makes sense. Like they still have a huge Kingdom Hearts is still a huge influence on the plot without being the entire plot.
I kind of not.
And so like it's the best Kingdom Hearts world in that sense, and also in the sense that like you actually will genuinely care about these characters. If you've never seen the movie, you still will genuinely care about these characters.
Also, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie.
Yeah,
What are you
Tangled's
doing?
great.
Get Disney Plus. It's worth it.
I don't have that either.
Yeah,
Well, it bundles with Amazon Prime too for an even cheaper price.
yeah.
And I think Hulu and Spotify. I'm just selling it at this point.
Will, our representative from Amazon.
Oh my god, Amazon is the best. The company is not the best, but Amazon Prime.
So yeah, this is just like a world that I feel like the person who directed it, whoever was like in charge of it, just like whether that was Nomura or like he like delegated or whatever, whoever was like genuinely really liked this movie,
Yeah. And they did a good job of adding it into the Kingdom Hearts world.
and they like just had like a very deft hand with it.
I'll be right
And
back.
so to me, it's like the gold standard. Can you
Fair.
believe there are people who think that like Frozen is better than Tangled?
How dare they?
There's plenty of things better than Frozen.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, those people are what we call children.
Now, I would accept a Moana is better than Tangled, and even then, I'd probably argue against it. But I could accept the opinion.
I'm a part of that opinion just because I did not like Frozen whatsoever.
I said Moana is better than Tangled.
Oh,
Moana is
sorry.
definitely
I
better
thought
than
you said
Frozen.
Frozen. I was like, yeah, it's way better.
Frozen has a lot of problems.
You guys have
Yeah.
possibly picked a worse time.
I don't know. I think they're pretty.
Besides
similar.
like the
Moana
fact that
and
like
Tangled.
Oh, I love Moana.
yeah
I still have to put Tangled higher though.
yeah, I would still put Tangled
It's
high.
time for these wet blankets
I'm a
to
big
go.
Princess and the Frog fan, so I might put that one above Tangled.
I mean, you're entitled to your trash opinion, but it is trash.
As per usual, everything I do makes Keegan upset.
Yeah.
It's because you're just so. You just can't ever have like a good opinion, James. You've never once
such a
told me
trash
something
person.
that I've been like, okay, yeah, I can believe that. Like this motherfucker's never seen Digimon.
That's not true. I said I never got into Digimon.
Like we had an entire thing about this, and he was like, I like Pokemon more than Digimon, and I was like, oh well, the first 3 seasons of Digimon are like way better than like the first 2 or 3 seasons of Pokemon.
Yeah, Digimon actually has like plot and character development,
Yeah,
but who needs those?
yeah,
I do
And
watch
like- and
Pokemon
like-
way more though.
and like characters that are like actually like you can like aren't autistic.
True. True.
Uh,
I don't know. It's just one of those things that I just never really got into Digimon for some reason. Probably 'cause I
Never
didn't-
seen the first Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Once again, we've had this
That's the
argument
only one I've
before
seen.
that I have seen some of it. I just don't remember most of it.
Okay, so like if you can't remember it, you basically haven't seen it.
do you guys ever watch Shaolin Showdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
a
my god, that was
show.
my shit.
For once, Daniel has an opinion that I can respect.
We found something.
Okay,
We found the
but
middle
we
ground.
have to put like. Did you like the last season that was like super awful?
No.
Was that the second one or the third one? I forget.
think it was
Okay,
third.
good.
I think it was the third one.
Yeah, the third. Is that the one where like Raymundo becomes like the leader of the
Yeah.
group, and you're just like, why are we doing this way? It
Because
doesn't make any-
what's his name? I can't. Why am I blanking on his name? The yellow kid.
yeah, it's like Ori or Oni or something.
Whatever that. He like fucks up the timeline because
Yeah.
he's like, I want to be the leader,
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
and he repeatedly fucks it up.
used to watch that, Teen Titans, and Kim Possible
Oh,
every day
God.
after
Oh my god,
elementary school.
I love those shows.
I never actually watched Kim Possible, which
What
is
is-
interesting.
Oh, really?
Everybody my age watched Kim Possible.
Have we
right?
found
Yeah.
something that we can
Oh, yeah.
shit on Will for?
Oh, there's plenty of things you can shit on.
I mean,
Will
yeah,
for,
I
don't you
mean,
worry.
like, yeah, it's kind of a piece of shit move to never have watched Kim Possible, man. I don't know how you.
I've watched it, but like, it's something I just never got into.
Fuck you.
So
Good.
We
So,
found,
it's like a classic. It's like a classic kids show. It was like classic,
Will,
man.
We found Will's Digimon.
Yep.
We found Will's one thing that he's like Daniel, where like my opinion of you has just vastly decreased.
Something Nikki hated me for is that I've never watched a single episode of That's So Raven,
Oh,
and that
wow.
was her show that she
Oh,
was
yeah?
in love
Wow.
with.
I was never big into live action Disney shows, so I mean, like, I'm with you there. Where it's like I just never watched.
I
Like,
watched a few, but I never really like this is the shit.
Yeah.
Possibly because like live action Disney shows just like didn't interest me because like the acting was always terrible or something.
Mhm.
I mean, I watched the Sweet Life shows.
Yeah, no. Sweet
Other
Life,
than
definitely.
because I'm part of a community that makes this joke. I mean, like Cory in the House is
I remember
being
Cory
the
in the
world's
House.
best anime.
Uh,
So yeah, so the implication from this scene is that like Marluxia is the person who causes this all to happen.
makes sense.
And then they're like,
So,
"Who
like-
the fuck are you?"
You know,
He wouldn't.
so it's I still give them props in that like Marluxia has such a deft hand as like the villain of this world, where like he never directly influences something. Like he's not like young Xehanort in the last world where he's like directly attacking Buzz or anything. It's like his entire thing is he's just like deftly manipulating
And
things.
just pulling the strings.
Like he just pulls Gothel and Rapunzel's strings, and he just knows how to do it. And yeah, you can argue that he, he like roofied Flynn and tied him to a boat or something. But
But that happens in the movie anyway.
yeah,
Just ignore that.
yeah. You know, and so it's like he definitely, like he manipulates this entire situation to happen.
Mother? Were you
Did you guys ever watch Code Lyoko?
Yes,
Mother, how did you...
I really
I
like.
remember it, but I honestly don't remember anything about it.
I remember it used to air like I remember Cartoon Network had this weird thing they did, like post Toonami, where like they showed anime on like Friday afternoons or
Yeah.
something, and so
When I first got into One Piece and like Naruto.
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to always watch Naruto then. Naruto's my shit.
So yeah, so Marluxia doesn't want us chasing after Rapunzel now, because he's basically his master plan has been successfully implemented essentially.
Did he just drug us again?
Yes,
Yes.
he roofied us with magic.
Wow, magic roofies work even better.
Yeah,
I'll remember
Because
that.
his thing
which is kind of a shout out to Chain of Memories where he does that like at the end of every stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's just rude.
Yeah,
Isn't it technically because of like Marluxia's powers over like flour and shit?
I don't.
There's something like
yeah.
that.
Some natural drug.
We've talked about this and I cut it, and I'll probably cut it again because
I have the power of poppy seeds and opium.
Yeah. I just had a thought of like a Lone Ranger Kingdom Hearts world.
oh yeah,
That'd be fun.
Okay.
I had one and it was like
And shaking him.
I just can't remember what it was, but it was like, oh, this would be like really stupid and it'd be hilarious and awesome.
Progressive world.
We're sticking with that.
Yeah, sure.
I think it'd be fun.
Wait a minute.
Final boss is the
It's like USAA.
And so this is really cool too. Is that like the way they explain why Finn is sort of
Go help Rapunzel.
ends up being in the tower without them? Is that like, you know,
we'll hold them off.
yeah,
You have a horse. You can do that.
I'm a horse.
Thanks, Keegan.
You showed him.
Yeah, so remember when I said that those guys shows back up?
Yep.
Yeah,
There's another one.
Luckily, it's only part one, or one part of it.
yeah.
There's another. There's two maybe. There's at least one more.
I know. I'm just saying, like right here. There's
Yeah.
only one at a time, which is much more pleasant.
Oh yeah, so this is we were telling you last time about the Fantastic Seven.
Oh yes.
This one has the orange and is the most painful thing to do.
Well, once you know, like once you know what pictures to take
Yeah.
and the timing of it, it's actually
Oh,
really
this is
easy.
the picture one you
Yeah,
guys
this
were
is- this
talking
is
about
the
last
picture.
time.
It's actually really easy, and like the thing about it is it's the most consistent also. So like once you know what to do, you will always get like every other time you do it, as long as you remember the order to go, and you will always get it.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other ones can be super, like the cherry is in Olympus Coliseum, and it's like a mini game where like you have to ride on Goofy's shield through pretty much all of Thebes.
Yeah.
And because of the way that the shield controls, it's really janky,
Yes.
and
Very
so
true.
it can be very inconsistent. And then the one I did in Toy Box, which I don't remember if that's in the video or not. I don't think it is. But I did the one in Toy Box, and so Will has seen it. And
I have.
that one is the like super inconsistent.
Yeah.
So this boss is maybe, in my opinion, it's the first actual like hard final, like the first hard boss, but it's only like your first time running into it,
Yeah.
because it can do a thing that's like really annoying, and it was like an annoying attack.
In critical mode.
It's super visually interesting though.
Yeah. In critical mode, I hated the Frozen final fight because it's such a pain.
Well, once again, Frozen is a world that is basically the opposite of Tangled in every way, where every decision they make is terrible and stupid and awful. So, I forget what his name is. I think it's Hans. It's Hans. So Hans shows up literally 20 minutes from the final boss, turns into the final boss, and he has no speaking lines.
Nice.
Just let me heal him.
They had to put it in there.
Yeah.
But the final boss fight in critical mode is just
So,
awful.
so like it's here where like they just like say that like she can heal people with her hair or whatever. Like they don't imply it's the hair. They're like she can heal people. So when like you
Yeah, I
know,
assume her
so
hair
so,
glows when she
so it's
heals.
like because that was never established early on. That's a little weird. But
throw him a potion. It'll fix it.
Yeah. My hair spawns potions.
Yeah.
yeah. uh, so here's a question for you guys: do you like blonde Rapunzel or brunette Rapunzel more?
Definitely blonde.
Okay.
I don't know. I think blonde probably, yeah.
All right. So both of you have a trash opinion.
I don't know. I think it's more because I like she's mainly blonde the entire time.
Yeah, and
it's
you know
just
that's like
weird to look at her
Rapunzel.
when she's
Yeah.
The whole
a
point of
brunette.
Rapunzel.
I don't know. I just think that like, I just think she looks better as a brunette. But maybe that's like my own personal preferences.
Probably.
Once more, trash opinions.
Yeah, if you guys didn't have trash opinions, I wouldn't have to worry about it.
What?
Yeah,
She just
So Marluxia
Adjusted during
explains
that
here,
Fall into darkness. We can't allow.
right, is that like he manipulated her, but now she's like actually fallen to darkness.
He manipulated too much.
Mhm. So basically, he transforms her into something that Sora can kill.
Oh, nice.
So very visually interesting boss here. And it makes good use of its arena. So do you remember how the last boss was like
Floating.
was like a floating thing that that like you had to try and jump on it?
Oh yes.
Uh,
Oh, the giant spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one moves.
so this one is still floating and all that, but sneeze.
You gotta sneeze.
No, I said that was the sneeze condition.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it essentially just turns your attack command into a sneeze, so you don't get as many attacks. But if you're in the middle of a combo, it just lets you continue the combo,
Oh.
as evidenced by our own footage. So it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
You just sneeze on one of the attacks. Heal. Wow, that cure did not take much damage.
It takes your entire MP bar, but
Oh, did you just use an item?
Yeah.
no,
well,
I cured. So it takes all of it, empties your MP.
So like, if you're at like the very last of your MP, you can still.
Yeah,
use
so a
cure.
lot of
Oh,
so
nice.
like a lot of people would probably say I kind of screwed that up. So like the fun thing about this boss is that it actually uses the idea that it is
There's a giant tower. In
there's
the
a
middle of the
giant
fight.
tower in the middle, which is essentially kind of like let it. Crap! I was meaning to use Duck Flare. I've kind of screwed up this boss fight a little
You
at
can
this
do it.
point. Okay, this is the annoying attack. So it summons a bunch of meteors and it makes you do this thing.
Oh.
It makes you run back.
Oh, that's
And
annoying.
yeah. And then it summons these bomb things that explode all around
Bomb
you that are like
strawberries.
super hard to avoid. And they do like, especially on critical mode, they do like tons of damage from what
Yep.
from like what Daniel's telling me, because I was talking to him about it. I was like, this seems like the fight that would be the most annoying to me. Other than the goo monster.
Oh, that was painful.
There.
And then its tail blocks you, and so you get hit by more of them because it's a pain in the dick.
And then you can do this, which is amazing for this fight.
Oh yeah, shit. That's a good bit of damage.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
We'll put in a clip of the video with
No,
no
we won't.
audio.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Daniel tells me to do things, I tell him to fuck off.
Then you tell Daniel to do everything.
Well, what I was telling him to do shit to speed the fucking video up, okay? I was like, make sure you do these things, because I don't want these videos to be more than like 2 hours, minus like any important cutscenes we have to watch. You know, like I want every video to be about 2 hours, and this one's gonna go on a little bit more than that, just because the cutscenes at the very end.
Yeah.
Just looking at our recording time.
Well, we might
I-
be able to.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
hate this thing so much right now. Once again, this is taking way longer than it should. Like every boss fight, because I'm like constantly trying to talk at the same time, takes way too long.
I want to see speedrunners go through this one.
Oh, I've seen the speedruns. They're not as exciting as I wish they were.
Oh, just this boss specifically. I want to see.
I don't even remember how they fight this boss.
Probably some very beautiful, cheesy way.
I know that I want to say that this isn't a very popular category or this isn't a very popular Kingdom Hearts game because of its combat.
Because of the floaty combat.
Yeah. But I don't remember, to be honest. So,
Oh, where's he gonna eat you?
Right onto it.
Oh, good. Goes off of it. Like, oh, well.
yeah, it'll track to a target, but
At least. Oh, yeah. This thing's getting
I think
hit pretty good.
I think we'll be done right around the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, that's perfect. back off. Nice.
We nailed it.
Right on time.
Don't go. Stay with me, Eugene.
So yeah, this is pretty much taken right out of these last couple of scenes. But they did a cool thing where they just are like, oh look, they're in the window.
They made it.
Hi, we made it finally. There's this whole thing outside. You guys don't have to worry about it. It's taken care
Don't
of.
worry. There was this horrible monster that your mother turned into,
And glow.
or that your
Stepmom.
yeah
Flowers
stealing adoptive mother.
make the clock reverse. Bring back what once
Adoptive
was
slavery.
mine.
This is what I was saying, is that there's kind of one song in it, but even that's more like the nursery rhyme thing.
The thing that somehow activates her hair.
Rapunzel. You were my new dream.
Yeah. And once again, best Kingdom Hearts world, because like you actually care about this moment, whereas like in a bunch of other games, you're like, yeah, that happened to the movie, skip.
I think her with short hair reminds me of what's her face from BioShock Infinite.
Oh, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth. I was gonna say that, but I didn't. For some reason I thought that name was
That's
wrong.
not it.
Yeah, I think so. Similar hairstyles, similar kind of like facial structure. That's a good game. Maybe we'll play that game at
It
some
is a
point.
really good game.
Just to play it.
Why not?
I own it. It's on my Steam.
Yep,
Yeah.
same. You just play 3 copies of it at once.
Yeah.
Say what has been.
You want to talk about a trash opinion? I've seen stuff where people don't like BioShock Infinite. They're like, this game's too confusing, and its combat sucks, and yada yada yada. And I'm like, you should stop playing video games.
I mean, I don't like some of the time warp stuff like that they do in it, but it's not enough to make me feel like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah. Admittedly, it can be a little confusing your first time playing through it. Then again, there's also people that didn't like the Witcher series because they didn't get the different timeline shit. I literally like see those complaints. I'm like, are you fucking retarded?
Are
Do you
you a
actually like
2-year-old?
watch TV?
Do you understand anything?
People were like, when the queen showed up, I knew she was dead, so I was like confused in the 4th episode. I'm like, yeah. So you're supposed to put 2 and 2 together.
Realize there's more things going on here than you currently understand.
You should have been like, well, that's not Cirilla. Oh, and the queen's alive. I guess this is in the past, which means Geralt's timeline's in the past. Yeah. You're supposed to realize that. Admittedly, realizing that like Yin's timeline was in the past is a little bit more like a kind of an Easter eggy thing with the Foltest thing, but still, like have a fucking brain. So it was really confusing until our 4th episode. You're so confused you can't accept that it was in the past.
And then these guys have their moment on the side.
They're all happy for everyone.
It's in that moment that I realized that most people are like fucking retarded, and that's why.
No, it's completely true.
And that's why like all of our that's why like nothing can be any good. Like people are always like, I wish directors would take more chances and things of that nature, and they're like, studios would take more chances on movies. And I'm like,
Here they are.
motherfuckers didn't even realize a timeline in The Witcher, and they were like, it would be easier if there were giant letters that popped up telling us what time it is. I'm like, would you have recognized it anyway?
It's not like Star Wars where at the beginning they say exactly what's the story going on is.
Yeah.
Ever after.
Yeah, that's the Keyblade we get from here.
And then
by the way, Pete and Maleficent are here.
By the way,
This is their first cutscene in 11 hours.
and there's the full zip of Pete.
Yeah,
dude,
that's not in the video, so
Oh, look at that
people won't
zip.
get it. But
Easy access.
Evan would know.
And there's what is his? Is that Alias?
that's Alias.
He was recompleted like the rest of us, but he didn't regain consciousness.
So basically, this is just telling that like they're looking for a replica, which is like a heartless.
No,
It's
they're
just like a
looking-
body.
They're looking for Evan.
No,
this
they're
one.
looking for a replica because they want to put Roxas's heart in it, so that Roxas can be a real person again. And then they're like, "Oh, you're too late because the replicas aren't around." And so they're looking for Evan because Evan's the guy who invented them.
That's what it
And they're like,
is.
"Well, he's taken off, and now we don't know where he is."
Documents around.
And then in the next
All of them
few
from
worlds, we find out what
happened.
happened.
The door to
Yeah.
darkness.
The DTD.
Yeah, the DTD, the door to darkness. Oh, remember this is gonna be a thing in 2 where like they come up where they find the password for it,
Behind us.
and it's like 7 names, right? and they immediately nail the exact order of the password.
His faculties and mine now.
Like it's like the 7 princesses of light. Okay, and they immediately say all the names in order.
Everyone's.
In the correct order to be the password.
Maybe it didn't have to be a specific order.
Also use the replicas.
Great password.
I mean, that's true. The computer was pretty corrupted and janked up at that point.
Yeah. Tron's in that computer, by the way.
Even though Tron can speak to them right now and like probably knows where Evan went.
Yeah. Tron could just be like, he went here. Yeah, Tron and the Tron world are in that computer.
Yeah.
How fun.
That computer.
That computer out there.
Mm-hmm. I'm a computer.
What? What is that from?
I think it's from China, Illinois, but I don't know.
There's a show I've never looked at and been like, I want to watch this.
Never mind.
It's really funny if you're in college.
Oh, okay.
I guess now when they just talk about what happened to Evan.
So,
you desire to return to the organization?
I knew that this one was coming up.
I couldn't remember if it
so
was
these
now
are all
or
the
later.
so these are all the former organization members who are now members again of Organization 13 because there's not enough Xehanorts, I guess.
Because you couldn't just take like 5 from like 5 seconds apart.
Yeah.
He ripped me away from
so like Xehanort gathered a bunch of other versions of himself to be the other members of Organization 13, and then there's these guys. So it's like Syax, Vexen, Dimix, Larxene, and Bornelusha,
and Luxord.
Oh, and Zigbar. But Zigbar
is
at the end of the game when Zigbar shows up. We're just gonna roast the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Unless it changes in Remind, which it won't.
You never know. I mean,
I would hate to think we invited you back into our ranks, only for you to fail to deliver our final vessel.
And Shion.
I honestly don't remember like this cutscene at all because it's so unimportant. They're just like, we're gonna be generic evil people.
Vexen rejoined the organization. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, there's another one where they all show up and they bitch. I don't know if it's soon or not.
Well, then they're like, oh yeah, you guys are.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So is Maleficent
so this is the new
working
zone.
with Organization 13?
No.
So
doesn't she like hate their guts?
Yes.
Okay, so they're very separate.
All right. So that's this episode.
Yay!
Cool.
Exactly.
Wow.
2 minutes, 2 hours.
That was great. So next episode we may or may not go to Twilight Town.
Yeah.
Which actually maybe after Monstropolis anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think there's a cutscene or something.
They tell us. So Daniel will be taking over starting next time. So be prepared for all that trash gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And we will basically before you probably see this video, the Remind video will be up. So please check that out. Will hopefully be there, so he doesn't even have the context of what the other rest of this game is.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful.
He has the first half of this game, so he knows what the conflicts are, and he'll see the resolution. So Will's going to get tons of spoilers for what happens in the rest of the game. None of it matters. None of it. Honestly, none of the rest of the stuff we do matters all that much.
Yeah,
cool.
Other than the next world, you'll see, you'll meet what's his name?
Luxord?
No, Vanitas.
Oh, Vanitas.
And you're going to be like, he looks eerily similar to another character that he has no relation to.
Is that Ventus's person?
No,
in a way,
In a way, yes. He's the dark side of Ventus's heart. That
But
was
in another
separated.
way, absolutely not.
But he looks exactly like Sora.
What?
Yes. But, hey, Will, if people like this video, what should they do?
Go into that comment section, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you like that, if you actually care about us.
Yeah.
And go watch our other videos, because we like to talk trash about everything.
Yep. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.